In this video, we're going to talk about Jupiter's transit into Cancer for Sagittarius Ascendant. For Sagittarius rising, Jupiter is not just any planet, it is your Ascendant Lord, the ruler of your body, your identity and your life direction, and it also rules your 4th house of home, mother, property and emotional peace. When this same Jupiter enters Cancer, it becomes exalted, which means maximum strength. But here's the twist, for Sagittarius, Cancer is your 8th house. So this is not a simple blessing, this is Guru entering the cave of transformation. Jupiter reaches Cancer in stages. The first brief preview begins around October 18th, 2025. Jupiter dips into Cancer for a few weeks, then turns retrograde and returns to Gemini on December 5th, 2025. Think of this short window as a karmic trailer. It hints at the themes of healing, hidden matters, ancestral issues and emotional honesty long before the real story begins. The main transit starts on June 2026, when Jupiter re-enters Cancer in an exalted state. Jupiter stays in Cancer through late October 2026, passing through the lunar mansions of Punarvasu, Pushya and Ashlesha. On October 31st, 2026, Jupiter leaves Cancer and moves into Leo, where it turns retrograde in December. Then on January 25th, 2027, Jupiter re-enters Cancer in retrograde motion. It turns direct again around mid-April 2027 and finally exits Cancer on June 26, 2027. This is a 3-act story. The 2025 preview shows you the hidden issues. The 2026 main transit forces you to face them, and the 2027 retrograde return lets you revise, complete and integrate the work. From start to finish, this is a year-long process of transformation, not a single event. To understand why this transit feels so intense for Sagittarius, look at the house map. Counting from Sagittarius, Cancer is your 8th house. The 8th house is the domain of transformation, hidden knowledge, inheritance, joint finances, taxes, insurance, secrets, confidential documents, chronic health patterns, and psychological depth. It is called Randra Bhava, the house of vulnerability, surrender, and rebirth. An exalted benefic placed here can protect, but it cannot erase the nature of the house. So the 8th house topics become unavoidable during this transit. Now add the key layer. Jupiter owns 2 houses for Sagittarius rising. It rules your 1st house of body, self, vitality and personality, and it rules your 4th house of home, mother, property, vehicles, education and emotional peace. This dual ownership is what makes the transit so personal. When Jupiter enters the 8th, it carries your identity and your entire domestic foundation into the house of transformation. There is another important detail for Sagittarius rising. The moon is the natural ruler of Cancer, which means the moon is your 8th lord. So this transit stirs deep emotional waters, and matters of the heart, the mind and the mother become tightly woven into the transformation. Your body, your self-concept, your home and your emotional security all pass through a deep remodeling. The result is not collapse, it is a forced upgrade that matures you from the inside out. Many people hear the word exalted and assume the transit will be pure good fortune. Here is the rule that changes everything. Dignity shows strength, but the house shows the field of experience. A strong planet in a difficult house does not cancel the difficulty. Instead, it delivers powerful results from that house. So exalted Jupiter in your 8th house gives powerful 8th house results. The transformation is real, hidden issues surface, old identities shed. But because Jupiter is strong, the process tends to upgrade you rather than break you. Some sources emphasize the hidden wealth, the healing and the spiritual awakening. Other technical sources stress that the 8th remains a challenging house and your Ascendant Lord placed there requires real caution. Both views are correct. The growth here is subterranean. You may feel less outwardly buoyant during this transit, even though Jupiter is exalted. The native often matures into a more refined version of themselves. The treasure only appears after the locked room has been opened and the hidden matters have been faced. Grace comes through transformation, not through escape from it. From the 8th house, Jupiter casts 3 aspects that act as channels of grace. These aspects are what save this transit from being purely difficult. Jupiter's 5th aspect falls on Scorpio, your 12th house. This supports spiritual retreat, foreign stays, private healing, meditation, dream life and sleep. It can also direct your expenses toward healing, pilgrimage or sacred purposes. If health is ignored, this same aspect can show up as hospitalization, so do not dismiss the body's signals. Jupiter's 7th aspect falls on Capricorn, your 2nd house of wealth, family, speech, food and savings. This is a major compensating grace. Even though the 8th house brings financial complexity, your 2nd house receives direct Jupiter support. Family, wealth, savings and even your speech can stabilise and improve. Jupiter's 9th aspect falls on Pisces, your 4th house, because Pisces is Jupiter's own sign. This aspect is highly protective for your home, mother, property, vehicles, education and emotional peace. This is the single most reassuring feature of the entire transit. So the planet sits in the difficult 8th, but it throws grace to the 2nd and the 4th. You may pass through real uncertainty, yet if your decisions are thoughtful and your documents are clean, you can land on stronger family, money and emotional foundations than you started with. The transit unfolds through several Nakshatra phases, each with its own mood. At entry, Jupiter passes through Punarvasu, which carries themes of renewal, return and starting again. Use this brief phase to observe what needs healing. Do not force dramatic outer moves just yet. From around June 18 to mid-August 2026, Jupiter enters Pushya, one of the most nourishing nakshatras, closely linked to the Guru principle itself. This is the cleanest and strongest window of the entire transit. It is ideal for initiating research, spiritual study, resolving inheritance or insurance matters, planning property with clean documents, healing family relationships, and getting preventive health checkups. Note that Jupiter is combust from roughly mid-July to mid-August 2026. During combustion, the external delivery weakens even though Jupiter remains exalted. Health anxieties, friction in joint finances and decision fatigue can rise during this window. Use it for review and protection rather than risky commitments or flashy launches. From mid-August through late October 2026, Jupiter moves through Ashlesha. The energy becomes more psychological, strategic and penetrating. Hidden family motives may become visible and intuition about money and people sharpens. Use this phase for investigation and depth, not for suspicion or control. In late October 2026, Jupiter temporarily leaves Cancer and meets Ketu in Leo, your 9th house. The focus shifts toward Dharma, ancestors, father, gurus and spiritual intensification. Then, from late January to late June 2027, Jupiter returns retrograde to Cancer to complete the unfinished work of 2026, with a more introspective and karmic flavour. In health, this transit makes awareness unavoidable because Jupiter is your ascendant lord. Moving through the 8th, hidden or chronic patterns may surface. The protection here is early detection. Get a full body checkup, eat fresh and clean food, avoid stale meals, and respect the body as the temple of Guru. In finances, joint money comes into focus. Inheritance, insurance, taxes, settlements, and your partner's resources may all require attention. Gains from hidden or delayed sources are possible, but avoid risky investments, rash travel, and heavy loans. This is a consolidation transit, not a gambling transit. In home and property, ancestral matters may surface. Your mother's health or emotional condition may need your attention. Property or vehicle matters can activate, but keep loans low and documents clean. In career, this is less about flashy promotion and more about depth. Hidden realignments can occur in education, healing, research, finance, psychology, or international work. You may gain the courage to take a stand when pressured to handle sensitive professional matters through written communication rather than impulsive calls, so your words stay clear and defensible. In relationships, intimacy deepens through trust and vulnerability. Superficial bonds may fall away while honest connections grow stronger. And in education and spirituality, this is one of the most powerful areas of all. A sudden attraction to research, psychology, healing, occult sciences, and private practice can redefine your inner life. No transit overrides your natal promise or your current planetary period. The Dasha decides whether you actually walk through the gate that the transit opens. This transit delivers most strongly if you're running a Jupiter period, a moon-related period, or a period linked to the 4th or 8th houses. If both your ascendant and your moon sign are Sagittarius, the experience becomes even more intense. At Jupiter's entry in June 2026, the moon was in Sagittarius, which classical transit analysis reads as strong, high-quality delivery. So the transformation may feel uncomfortable, yet it can still produce genuinely valuable results. A strong natal Jupiter delivers cleaner results, while a challenged one still educates before it rewards. The correct attitude is not fear, it is reverence. Guru is exalted, but he is sitting in the 8th house. Face what surfaces, keep your documents clean, and let the transformation do its work.